Hello everybody! Today we're going to be unpackaging some rolling stock that we bought for our Thomas & Friends collection. So we have 7 pieces here, and we have the first 4, and they consist of some troublesome trucks and then in kind of a generic red open wagon. So let's take a quick look at the packaging. So the first one is troublesome truck, and this one is labeled troublesome truck number 1. That's the official name. Okay. Next up, we have troublesome truck number 2. Next up, we have troublesome truck number 4. This one is a green variety. Okay, and next up we have a kind of a generic red open wagon. Okay. Okay, next up is a Sodor Scrap Company open wagon. Next up is a ventilated van for the Sodor Fruit and Vegetable Company. And lastly, we have a Sodor cattle van. Or GWR cattle wagon. All right, let's unpackage them and we'll put them on the turntable for review, and then we'll take them for a run around the layout with Original James. And there we are, all unpackaged. Let's take a closer look at them on the turntable. Okay, let's take a quick look at these cars on the turntable here. So, since these troublesome trucks here, number 1 and number 2, are pretty much identical except for the faces, we'll just take a look at these together on the turntable. So, from the side, we have some very nice detail here. We have the planking. This would be considered a 7-plank open wagon. The alternative to that, there's a 5-plank open wagon that, you know, if you count the planks up, there should be 7 planks, and that kind of determines the height. And then, like I said, the other variation of an open wagon is the 5-plank. It's a little bit lower. But here again, great detail with the iron bracing or steel bracing. You've got the rivet detail here, or bolt detail on the corner brace. You know, just great detail. Down here, these are all plastic, by the way. And these are Bachmann, in case I didn't mention it before. All these cars, these Thomas cars that we're showing today are all Bachmann HO scale. So we have a lot of, you know, the truck detail down here with the brake mechanism, and some of these other mechanical mechanisms down here just have really, really good detail. So we give it a spin. So from the front, this is the face of troublesome truck number 1. So there's a face on one end. We'll show you number 2 when we make the final turn. But these troublesome trucks have hook and loop couplers. You can see that there's some buffer detail here, black on the tip of the buffers. These cars are 2-tone gray. So we get the dark gray on the bracing and on the ironwork, and then light gray on the wood pieces. As we continue around, these are exact mirror images of the opposite side. Again, you've got the planking for the sides, bracing, the brake work down here. Again, this wonderful detail here on the trucks and the mechanics under the trucks. Okay, this is the face of troublesome truck number 2. They all have slightly different faces. These are actually duplicates. We have a number of these troublesome trucks, and we bought these trucks here just so we have a nice long train of open wagons themed after the Thomas collection. So again, on this end here, buffers, hook and loop couplers. What we'll do here is we'll remove one of these trucks, since the only difference is the face, and we'll just take a look at the back. And the back is pretty unremarkable. We've got the corner bracing, again with the mock bolt work here, and we have the bracing and so forth, and then some detail here along the frame of the bottom. Let's take a look at the top. On the top, the detail carries through. You can see the planking on the floor. You know, just, again, I keep repeating myself that it's wonderful detail, but it really is. If we look at the bottom, you'll see that we have the Bachmann, stamp, manufacturer stamp in the bottom. Not too much detail on the bottom frame here. The detail is mostly seen from the side, but we do have the Bachmann stamping in there, and then a number, probably a product number, right there on the bottom. Okay, so put those back up there. Give them one final spin. I'm not sure if I mentioned it, these cars are about 4 inches long from tip of coupler to tip of coupler. Okay, let's move on to the next set. Okay, moving on to troublesome truck number 4. This truck here is green, as you can see, with black ironwork detail. Again, the detail is very similar to the gray troublesome trucks. There's a little bit of variation in the detail of the ironwork here, very slight, but yeah, black gems, simulated bolt, same as the other troublesome trucks. As we continue around, hook and loop coupler, buffers, again, some iron bracing here. This truck is slightly different in detail from the traditional gray troublesome trucks. On both sides, we do have the detail on the truck part of the troublesome trucks. We have, the brake work here, some of the mechanical detail underneath. While the model itself is plastic, the wheels are metal. And as we continue around, we'll finish off with the face side here. Again, this is troublesome truck number 4, and there's the face view of the truck. All right, let's take a look at the top. Okay, looking in from the top, you can see that there is, again, the detail carries on the inside here. We have the planking on the floor, and then I'm not quite sure what these two details are here. It looks like some kind of reinforced flooring there. So we have that. And then on the bottom, again, we have the Bachmann badging, part number. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of detail like on the bottom, like right underneath. Again, most of the detail you kind of appreciate from the side. So it's really just more like product identification underneath. Okay, let's give it one more spin. Okay, next up is this is kind of a generic red open wagon car. All of the troublesome trucks are open wagon type of cars. So this is very similar to the gray troublesome truck, except for the paint scheme is obviously red with black ironwork. Again, it's about 4 inches from tip of coupler to tip of coupler. And I don't want to take too much time repeating, but the detail is very similar. You got the mechanics, the brake work down here in the truck area, bracing on the side with the simulated bolt heads on there. Very nice metal wheels. Let's give it a turn. Hook and loop coupler, buffers, again, planking, and some steel reinforcing, iron reinforcing there. On the opposite side, we have a mirror image of the other side. So again, this diagonal bracing, vertical bracing here, planks, iron work, or mechanical work there underneath the trucks, and metal wheels. And back to the side. Let's take a look at the inside. Inside is the same detail as the troublesome trucks. You get the plank floor detail here. You get the plank sides. Here is also a detail that carries through. And then on the bottom, again, just the Bachmann manufacturer stamp there with a part number. Let's give it one final spin. Okay, next up is the Sodor Scrap Company open wagon. This distinguishes itself from the other open wagons in that it has the company name painted on the side. The coloring is all the same, so it's all kind of a kind of a slate blue, blue-gray, and the planking is the same color as the ironwork on the side of the bracing. Again, the simulated bolt heads carry through. So this is the same basic detail as, this is more of the same basic detail as that red open wagon, I think. There are slight differences between the green, the blue, the red, and the gray as far as the detail goes, but they basically look very, very similar. Let's give it a spin. Again, planking, bracing, black framework with black buffers and hook and loop couplers. The two sides are mirror images of each other. We have the Sodor Scrap Company company name painted on the side, and then again the same mechanical work down here with the brakes and the bracing and the trucks and all that. Plastic with metal wheels. All right, let's take a look at the inside real quick. Consistent with the other cars, we have the planking carrying through on the inside detail here, and then the planking on the sides also carries onto the inside. And then the bottom is the same. Not a great amount of detail on the very bottom, like on the bottom surface here, but it's got the Bachmann manufacturing stamping there and part number. And again, about 4 inches from tip of coupler to tip of coupler. Let's give it one final spin. You probably noticed, if not, we'll just say it outright, that the Sodor Scrap Company wagon here and the generic red open wagon, those don't have faces on them. Only the 3 troublesome trucks, the green and the 2 gray, have the traditional Thomas faces on the front. Okay, next up is the ventilated wagon for the Sodor Fruit and Vegetable Company. So this is a more interesting wagon here than the troublesome trucks, I think, in that there's a lot of detail to appreciate here. So like I said, this is a ventilated wagon, so you can see the plank work here on the side. You can see the bracing. It's a nice kind of dark green color, almost like an olive green. A lot of bracing on the side. You got the doors. The doors don't operate, but plenty of detail there. And again, below we have a lot of the mechanical work, detailed mechanical work, the brake system here. Again, plastic with metal wheels. And this one is about, I would say this is probably about 4.5 inches from tip of coupler to tip of coupler. Okay, let's give it a turn. Okay, here's the front, or one end. We have planking here. We have a couple solid pieces here. I don't know if this would be ventilation areas here. We have the iron bracing, diagonal bracing here in the different thirds of the end of the car here. Hook and loop couplers with black buffer detail there. Okay. So we continue around. Again, the sides are mirror images of each other. We have the diagonal bracing, the door with the company name painted on the side. Brake detail on the side there, ironwork underneath. Good detail. And the end here is a mirror image of the opposite end. We have the planking, bracing, diagonal bracing, and then these 2 solid pieces in the corners. Okay, let's look at the roof. So it's got a gray smooth roof, and it has these little curved pieces across the top, which are probably kind of gutters to keep the snow and the rain from dripping on people working near the doors. Got a little bit of bolt or rivet, raised rivet detail on the very ends. The roof is a gray color and it contrasts really nicely with the green. I think those two colors go together really well, and also with the black framework on the bottom. If we look at the bottom, yeah, same as the other cars here. Again, not a lot of detail, like flat on the bottom of it. The detail is more appreciated from the side. We have the Bachmann, company information stamp there, and then a product ID number there, looks like. Let's give it one final spin. Okay, last up is the Great Western Railway's cattle wagon. So this is a nice looking piece of rolling stock. It's probably the most interesting one that we've looked at today. So it has predominantly brown colored body here with the planking, the bracing, and the ironwork all painted the same color. We've got some bars up here with some ventilation, presumably for the livestock, to get some ventilation and get some fresh air inside the cattle wagon. It's got some nice detailed doors here, which are green, which really kind of go really nice with the brown coloration of the rest of the wagon. And that's got some detail too. The bars carry across. We've got some iron bracework with the bolt heads or rivet heads, kind of protruding there, and then some diagonal planking back there. So yeah, it's a nice looking car. It's got the Great Western Railway's insignia painted in white to the left, and then it's got again, with same as the other cars that we've just seen, a lot of nice detail down here in the truck area with the brake mechanics and some of the mechanical work, and metal wheels. Let's give it a turn. Okay. Here's the end. Again, we've got some plank work down here, some iron work on iron bracing and framing here. Hook and loop couplers and black buffers with a kind of a black bottom frame that kind of carries around the whole car. Okay, the two sides are just mirror images of each other. Same brown paint scheme with the green doors. Same detail as before, Great Western Railway's logo printed or painted to the left, stenciled probably in real life, to the left. And then same with the other end here, we got the plank work, bracing. Yeah, very nice looking car for rolling stock. All right, let's take a look at the roof. So the roof is black here. It's pretty plain. It's not as detailed as the fruit and vegetable wagon here. There's no bolts or any kind of gutter over the top. This is just a plain kind of semi-arched roof over the top. Let's take a look at the end there so you can see like how the roof arches. All these cars here, these roofs kind of arch over the top. Yeah, so there's not too much to see on the roof there. It's a black roof. Again, goes nice with the rest of the paint scheme. And then the bottom, same as the rest of these cars. Not a great amount of detail on the bottom here, but it does have the Bachmann, branding stamped into the bottom of the plastic or molded into the plastic, and then a part number on the bottom in white. All right, let's give it one more spin. Okay, we're going to take our new rolling stock out onto the layout, and today we're going to have our rolling stock hauled by James. This is Origins James. So he has his black paint scheme, And this was his original paint scheme. So to put this in the context of the books and the TV shows, he made his first appearance in the Railway series book Thomas the Tank Engine, in which he was painted black like you see here. And then in the TV series or movies, I'm not sure which this one is, but he makes his appearance in The Adventure Begins in his black paint scheme. So this is Origins James. We'll be taking a look at Origins James along with the Red James and the Busy Bee James. We'll take a look at all three of those in a later video. But for now, we're going to have James haul our new rolling stock, since he typically hauls the troublesome trucks. And what we'll do is we'll have him haul all our troublesome trucks, and then we'll have him haul our other wagons, other new wagons. So James here, let's just take a quick look at James while we have him on the turntable here. So he is about 7.5 inches long, engine and tender. And as you can see here, he's really nice looking engine here. We have some working from bottom to top here. We've got the red kind of bumper here with the black buffer detail, black hook at the front. He's got the lamp posts here with one lamp on there, white lamp, and then the other lamp posts are black. And he's sitting on a gray deck with some red striping down here with some of the ironwork that extends out beyond the boiler. And of course James's smiling face. Let's give it a turn. Yep, so you can see the paint scheme here. Again, predominantly black, obviously, but we got the smokestack, a nice brass-looking dome here, and a little brass whistle there, if you can see that on the top, right in front of the cab. There's a lot of red pinstriping along the paint scheme here, which is cool. So we got a couple stripes here on the boiler, some pinstriping over what I would describe just as fenders here, and then along the cab. And then in the back, we have a light detail here. It's not a real light, that's really just a decal. And some more red pinstriping. This kind of scalloping of the tender. Again, red bumper carrying through matches the front. Hook and loop coupler in the back. Black buffers. A little coal load up here. We'll show you James from the top in just a second. And as we work our way around, the tender, of course, James is number 5. We have the red deck here, red decking for the tender. And then he's got a 6-wheel tender here, 3 on each side. And those are metal wheels. And then again, this side here, mirror image of the opposite side. I didn't mention on the other side, there's this pipe work here that's painted in silver. So there's a nice variation in the paint scheme here. A lot of different contrasting colors that really look nice together. And then of course, the drive wheels here. I think James would be considered a 260. So we get the 6 drive wheels here, 3 on each side, and then the linkage. So it looks like a really nice and really nicely put together engine and tender. And of course, this James is a Bachmann James HO scale. And then of course, the number 5, if I didn't mention it before. Okay, so we'll take a look at the top and the bottom, but one detail here is that the coupling is done. There's a little eye tongue there, I think you'd call that, and then there's a little post right here, and the tender goes on like that. Okay. Okay, so here's a top view of James. Again, you can see here the gray decking, the dome, some detail here above the cab, little whistle. Just to give you a quick top view there. Let's take a look at the bottom. Turn that around so we can read. Yeah, so the bottom has the Bachmann, again, the Bachmann, product information on the bottom, the Bachmann logo and all that molded into the plastic on the bottom. So just to give you an idea of what that looks like. All right. Okay, so quick look at the tender. Let's take a look at the top. See the sides. Yeah, so we have a coal load here. Top of the tender, we have a coal load, simulated coal load there. There's scalloping, again, you might be able to see that from the top on either side of the tender. Let's take a look at the bottom. Again, as with all of these Bachmann, Thomas, or probably all of Bachmann actually, the corporate, the company logo and information is molded right into the bottom. So there's what the bottom looks like. Okay. And one more quick spin of Origins, James.